everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. As you can see, I am wearing one of my Christmas presents. It's my wonderful Lopez t-shirt that my husband got me, and I love it. It's just his head, but it's good because it's like the style guide art, so it's correct. Because I've seen some like handmade shirts on Etsy and whatever where it's like they're drawing their own things, and it's just like, no, that's very off model. So, Lopez, my boyfriend, love him. So, no movie reviews, again, because still hunkering down at home and not going outside in public for long periods of time with strangers. But I did want to start this episode by revealing that I actually came closer to getting a PS5 than I ever have before. I just randomly, for no reason, swung by the Best Buy website during the week and saw that the PlayStation 5 said add to cart instead of sold out, which is what it usually says. I was like, what? And I clicked add to cart. And this time, instead of before, when it just said, you have to complete another step before we can add this to your cart, except it wouldn't tell you what that other step was, and I was like, hello? Here, I got a little screen that said, please wait. We're checking inventory, and we'll ask you to verify your account and whatnot. And I said, okay, great, I'll wait. After 5 minutes, I was like, okay, it's not happening, but I didn't want to close the window just in case. Because you never know, except I knew, but still, there was that little sliver of hope still, as long as it said please wait, and the little thing kept spinning. I think it was, I don't know, because I was working at the time, so I just left the window open on another screen, and eventually it changed, and was like, sorry, we're sold out. But I feel like that took like a half an hour or so, so like after 15-20 minutes, I was like, we're definitely not getting it, but I still don't want to turn it off, just in case. Because I think it's, like you couldn't ship it to yourself, you had to pick it up in store, so I think that they're divvying it up based on like my store at Atlantic Center in Brooklyn, how many units did they get, and then the people ahead of me in line that were from the area, they got it, and I lost out. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it would have given me a chance to say, oh, sorry, there's no more at your store, but you could go into the city and pick it up here, or whatever. Because that would be super annoying if they were like, okay, there's only one store in New Jersey that you could go get it at. And I'm like, I can't go to New Jersey to get a PS5, sorry. So I miss out. But still, it's the closest I've come to getting a PS5. And I think I've said this before, but they did just announce, Sony just announced the PSVR 2, which is exciting. It's very cool. It's a massive improvement on the PSVR in every way, shape, and form, from the resolution to the controllers, to just having one cable and no extra box. It's refined and beautiful, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I also hope that they patch the PS5 to play 3D Blu-rays, because I don't watch 3D Blu-rays on my PSVR really, because the resolution isn't that great, and I'd rather watch it on my 3D TV. But if the PSVR 2 is going to have great resolution and stuff, I could watch it on there, and it would be nice to know, just in case my 3D TV does eventually conk out, I would like to be able to watch 3D Blu-rays on my PS5. But I've said that this is probably how I'm going to get a PS5 eventually. They didn't announce when the PSVR 2 is coming out. Maybe by the end of the year, I don't know, maybe for Christmas. But I'm hoping that stores will bundle it with a PS5 and a PSVR 2. And it'll cost like over $1,000. But maybe that's something that will stay in stock long enough for me to buy, because the scalpers won't go for that, because they want just the console and they can't sell a PSVR 2. So, like, I'm gonna get them both eventually, so I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of money to lay out right away, but if it gets me a PS5, then great. Because I'm not super concerned about getting a PS5 yet, because I've said this before too, there are no PS5 exclusives that I really want to play that make me need to have a PS5. Everything is all coming out on the PS4. So it's good that they're releasing games and saying, oh, well, you can't get a PS5, so we'll put this out on the PS4 as well. So hopefully they keep doing that for like all of 2022, because we can't get them. So I would like to play games, so I need them to be also on the PS4. Yes, I would like to play games with prettier graphics. Yes, I would like to experience like the haptic feedback on the controller. The real thing that I would love, really, honestly, it's not necessary right now, as I said, but I would really love better loading times. Because, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like, to load that game, like, you could get up, go to the bathroom, get a snack, run up the corner store while it's loading. It takes forever. And I've also found that the load times in Guardian of the Galaxy are also not great on the PS4, obviously. Like, if you die, the loading screen to come back again, it's a pain in the ass. It takes forever. And what really sucked was there was one scene where there was a cutscene, and then there was a QuickTime event, but I didn't understand what it wasn't just a quick button press. It was like a controller move, and I'm just like, wait, what am I doing here? And it failed, and I died, and then it had to reload. And then I'm like, oh, am I supposed to do this? But then I wasn't in time that time, so it died, and then I had to reload. And every time it reloaded, it's like forever. And then eventually, I think it took me like 3 or 4 tries before I finally succeeded in the QuickTime event and was able to advance in the game. And I was like, oh my god, you're killing me. Because also, not only was the load time really long, but I had to re-watch the cutscene where I fall into the goop, and everyone gets trapped in the goop, and then the QuickTime event starts. And I'm just like, oh my god, you're killing me. So far, that and the chaotic battles are my only complaints. Otherwise, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's quite entertaining. It's very funny. It's like non-stop wisecracks and dialogue the entire time. This must have the longest script of any video game ever, because there's just non-stop dialogue. But I still find that when in battle, like, controlling the other Guardians is just chaos. And it would be one thing if it's like one enemy and you can direct them to attack that enemy, but when it's like swarms of enemies all around you, that's where it becomes difficult, because it's like you have to like focus on an enemy to highlight it, and then say, okay, Gamora, go attack that one, and then, oh, Groot, attack that one, and it's like, thankfully you're supposed to really, it's better if you double them up, so just focus on one enemy and just tell everybody to attack it, but it just becomes such chaos. And there was one battle where I like died because it was such chaos and I couldn't defeat any of the enemies because they kept regenerating, and I had just gotten a freeze power to my guns, except it never seemed to work, and I was like, what the hell? And then I died, and then after the long loading time it came back, and thankfully it actually, this time I was grateful that it reset to a little bit earlier in the battle, where it gave me the little pop-up that said, hey, you now have a freeze power to your gun, hold down R1. And I was like, oh, hold down R1. Oh. I was just pressing it, so nothing was happening. And as soon as I did that, I was freezing them, we were killing them left and right, and the battle was over in like 10 seconds. It was super easy. So I was like, womp womp, pay more attention to the fine print. But that's the thing, there's like, you keep getting new abilities and new powers, and then trying to control the Guardians, and it's like, Gamora, do this, Drax, do that. It's a lot, it's a little overwhelming, and there's no way to like pause and like do turn-based stuff, so that's my only complaint. Other than that, super enjoying it. I did take a few days off from Guardians of the Galaxy to play some Ace Attorney, because I was really close to the end of the final case, so I said, let me just plow through and solve this and get my client off and get that not guilty verdict. However, while I did finish it, it's only half the game, because the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is the 2 Great Ace Attorney games for the 3DS that were released in Japan. So I'm basically halfway through this game, even though I've already played like a full game. There's still another full game yet to play. So, and it is still enjoyable. I have to admit, I had to cheat a couple of times because, and this always happens in the Ace Attorney games, where you know what the truth is, but you don't know what evidence to present during which part of the testimony to make them confess or advance the dialogue to the next plot development. It's like you know what you are supposed to do, but you don't know how to do it. And I was like, after like just randomly trying various evidence pieces, I said, this is taking forever, and I had to keep reloading. Thankfully, the load times are quick on that game. And I eventually was like, I just have to look this up. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to present? Oh, okay, I'll try it, and I did it. And then occasionally, like, when you do that, the story will be like, ta-da, and then you'll see and you'll go, oh, okay, that makes sense that was the evidence that would make them say this. But beforehand, like, I couldn't make my brain connect those dots. So, but it's delightful, it's still funny, it's charming, and I love these characters. They're just wonderful. And I love how ridiculous the story gets. Like, at the end, it just builds to, like, this ridiculous nonsense. The final case was, like, bringing in a previous case and, you know, referencing back to that, and, like, but it just expanded into, like, government secrets and spies and this whole thing, and it's just like, oh my goodness. But that's part of the charm. And then, of course, there's the end credits, which are super cute, and then they end. And then when you hit continue, it doesn't start the next chapter. It actually rewound to the very last scene of the previous game, and I was like, well, no. So that was awkward and confusing. But I know that I said I was going to finish Ace Attorney, but you might recall in that episode, whenever it was, back when, I was going to do that so that I could play the new Pokemon game. However, then I found out that Horizon Forbidden West is coming out in February. So I'm not going to buy the Pokemon game at the end of January and then get Forbidden West in the middle of February, because what the hell, no. So I can't play two games like that at the same time. So I'm focusing on Forbidden West instead. So I will take my time, play Ace Attorney whenever it presents itself and I'm in the mood, but I'm going to focus on finishing Guardians of the Galaxy by February so that I can then move on to Horizon Forbidden West, because that I'm super excited to play, as opposed to the Pokemon game where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, so we'll see. So that is my plan, and I welcome you to come back and watch future episodes to see if I can succeed in that plan, or how quickly it goes off the rails, because if you watch these regularly, you know that anything is possible, and I turn on a dime and my attention span is like whoop whoop whoop. So who knows what'll happen. Come back and find out. Bye!